Hey guys, welcome to Brain and Peps Being the Know. I'm your host, Vale Chikuni. We begin. Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro. Well, if you ask me, I think there's trouble at Daily Wire, but I could be wrong. I have noticed the coverage that Candace Owens has been doing as far as the war that's going on between Israel and Palestine. I don't know. She's trying to every time she talks about she talks about like uh you know I just don't want I only want to care about America. I've been consistent. I don't know what's going on here, there, whatsoever. As you know, this is not the first time that Candace Owens has find herself in the opposite direction with her boss Ben Shapiro. She is her own person. She doesn't have to agree with everything, whatever Ben Shapiro. But I think in this case, I think she doesn't know what she's talking about. So when you don't know what you're talking about, or when you're not familiar, I think it's better to keep quiet. So I'm gonna share the clip with you guys, and then we're gonna get into it. So you see where I'm coming from. Like, okay, I don't know what's going on, but I think she has a contract with Daily Wire for 5 years. I don't think that 5 years is up, but who knows? Okay, so let's take a listen to what took place when Candace Owens on her show. She had a guest, and here we go.
My grandfather grew up in a segregated South, and so when I'm walking through Jerusalem and you see, and they say these are the Muslim quarters, this is where the Muslims are allowed to live, that doesn't feel like a bastion of freedom to me. So I guess.
Oh, I don't think it's where they're allowed.
Okay, so over here, Candace Owens, I don't know the name of the guest. I don't know the name of the gentleman of the guest over here. She's been to Israel and she's seen that the places are called quarters, right? These are Arabs' quarters, whatever the case may be. So in her mind, she's thinking like an American, which is fine. It happens to most people. She thinks that's segregation, that, the Arabs are being segregated to live in a different area than where the Israelis are supposed to be living, which is not the case. According to her, that reminded her of what used to happen during slavery down south. Okay. There is, I think 20% of the population of Israel is made up by Arabs, okay? They do have the same rights just like the Israelis. They serve on any type of branch of government, judiciary, they're doctors, they're nurses. They're just as part of Israel, just like anybody else. Now, just like here, right? You have, if we say like Boston, there's a lot of Irish people in Boston. But does that mean that Irish people cannot live in Chicago? Of course, they can live in Chicago if they want to live in Chicago. But when you say that, there's a lot of Irish people in Boston, that doesn't mean that Boston is segregated for Irish people. You see what I'm saying? Just like right now, you have a lot of Somali. They live in Minnesota. Can they live anywhere else within the 50 states? Absolutely, they can. Do you find other Somali in other states? Yes, you are. But there's a large number of them where in Minnesota. So those are the things that we here. So if somebody was to come here, it would be like, oh, why? I wonder why this is kind of like it's a segregation. You only want the Somalis to be living in Minnesota. You see what I'm saying? So I was just like, Candace, why would you make a mistake like that? Okay? So to me, I'm just like, okay, no, that's not it. That's not it. But the gentleman actually did explain to her, what that's all about. So to me, I'm just like, okay, if you're asking about that, you didn't know, I was just like, okay, these are the things that you are supposed to know already. But she doesn't. It's fine. If you want to talk about this topic, if you're not familiar about it, to me, I'm just like, okay, just don't say anything. You know what I mean? Because you find yourself saying things that are just like, oh, okay, what did you just say? So let's listen. It's a short clip. Here we go.
To live in Jerusalem. I think it's that there's an Armenian quarter. It's not saying the Armenians can only live here. It's that there are communities, just like there's Jewish community in Jersey here, and there's a Muslim community in here. I don't think,
My grandfather grew up in a segregated South. And so when I'm walking through Jerusalem and you see, and they say these are.
Okay, so the gentleman explained to him like, okay, it's not what you think it is. Okay, so let's continue because she went on. This was on her program. I'm like, okay, you work with Ben Shapiro. He's a Jew. Some of these things you could have just asked him. He would tell you. Okay, but let's go.
There are a lot of people in America that are sitting here going, okay, well, can you answer why Jews are so special? Because as white people in this country on university campuses, we are being taught that we are not allowed to have a voice. We have had to endure exactly what you're talking about, BLM. We've endured much worse than you have because it's in the actual textbooks. We are being told that we are systematically racist, that we are born wrong because of the color of our skin. And if we say anything, we'll lose everything. This is the typical experience on white campuses. So people, this is not whataboutism. This is like actually what we have been fighting for years. So it sort of arrived as, I think, for a lot of Americans, a surprise when they're saying, well, now that it's about Israel, which is something that's overseas, we need to, hand these university professors, we need to do something about this issue. Why weren't we trying to correct course on this issue? Why weren't donors pulling their funding out of these universities? Why weren't these same things being said for these last, I would say, 8 years of rampant BLM, white man can't do anything right, actively being taught in the classrooms? So there are people that are asking that question. Now, what I have said is that explicit call.
Okay, so right now, the fact of the matter is this. Jewish students are hiding in these colleges. They're facing a hostile environment in colleges. The FBI have said as such, and this is a matter of a public record right now. Ever since the October massacre happened in Israel, that has been the case. As far as the colleges are concerned, it's a known fact that most of these colleges they are not conservatives, okay? The colleges are no longer conservative. They are as liberal as they come. What I'm familiar with, it will be just like, now we don't want them to be testing at this particular level. We only, bring a certain number of students because, quote unquote, white people, right? They're the ones. But no, most people are actually Asians who are having higher test scores than regular white people. Candace should know that. So I don't know why she should bring that up. Because right now, you look at your news, look at the stories that are happening. It's exactly what's going on. It's the Jewish students who are actually suffering right now with whatever has happened. As far as the BLM is concerned, we all know they run the show. Okay? They run the show. I'm not familiar where I can hear whereby, black students are saying, we are suffering out here, especially these days. Most colleges have pretty much walked. And this is, yes, it is whataboutism. She said that, according to her, there's been white people who've been suffering, so why are Jewish people being treated special? I don't think, are there situations where Jewish people are being treated special? Maybe they are. I'm just not familiar about it. But with what's going on right now, to say, okay, we want to make sure that at the colleges they're going to have enough security to protect Jewish students, that's not them being special. They are the ones who are being persecuted in these colleges. So you give protection to somebody who is in danger. You see what I'm saying? If the same thing, I would like to believe that the same thing, if a certain group of people are also experiencing that, they will get the help that they need, as they should, which they would. So this is not the first time Candace Owens has found herself in this particular situation. You know what happened with the Kanye West. She said she wasn't going to denounce Kanye West. Kanye West is, they're friends. So she gave Kanye West the benefit of a doubt. Be that as it may, this is not the first time where Candace Owens is on the opposite side with her boss. It's just like, oh, Candace, girl, So anyway, she continues, and I don't know who this gentleman is, but I think he was, he did have good responses to Candace. And anyway, let's just listen.
calls for genocide, which was stunning to me to see that in Congress, are completely wrong. It is frankly crazy. I have not weighed in on the IDF's response in the same way that I have consistently said through every war, Ukraine and Russia, I don't want to be involved. I have said I don't want to be involved in Israel and Palestine, all these conflicts. My consistency seems to offend people, right? But I haven't made a single...
Okay, so no, that's not true, Candace. Candace tweeted out saying that genocide is wrong. And she put out this tweet after October 7th happened. So for her to put out that particular tweet, it wasn't out of a vacuum. Okay? Why didn't Candace put out that tweet 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago? So she put out that tweet in reference to what's going on, the war between Israel and Hamas. To say that Israel is committing genocide among the Gaza people, the Palestinian in Gaza, by definition, that's not true. If they wanted to do that, they have the capabilities of doing that. Okay? I've done quite a few videos. There's no way you be giving water to people you want to kill. There's no way you be giving free electricity, free water to people that you want to annihilate. There's no way, they have air power. Gaza doesn't have air force. They could just do that. But that's not what's happening over there. Are they people who are innocent caught up in this? Yes, they are. But you have to understand, how did that happen? Hamas, they have put their own people in danger. They've put their own people in that particular situation. As a result, innocent people are definitely suffering. So Candace always talks about okay, I don't want to be involved in Ukraine. I don't want to be involved in wars outside all those things, right? These are the facts, okay? This is the reality on the ground. You as an individual, you might not want to weigh in on anything, and you can do that. You have a right, you can do that. It's fine. But as an American government, they have no choice. Okay? And I'll tell you why. The world trades in dollars. There's so many reasons. Okay, there's so many reasons. But some of the reasons. Okay, the dollar is what you call. Okay, the world trades in dollars. Okay, but pound is stronger than dollar, and the euro is actually stronger than a dollar. But the world market trades in dollar. Okay, America is a superpower. These things, these are privileges that come with responsibilities. Whether Americans like it or not, this is exactly what's going on. This is how it is. Now, what happens? Pretty much every country in Africa receives aid from America. Okay, so many nations, even in the Middle East, India, Pakistan, Egypt, Jordan, all these countries, they do receive a big financial aid from America, including Israel. In fact, the Iron Dome that's in Israel is funded by America, okay? These are taxpayers. So that's what happens. You need, you vote. As they say, elections have consequences, right? But be that as it may, here's my point. Because America is on this world stage, okay? America is the police of the world. These are the things that they are required to do, and they're expected to do, and they are supposed to do, because they put themselves in that particular situation, okay? There's been wars, look what happened in Afghanistan. They were there for 20 years, right? America left within 48 hours. That government collapsed. Now you have parents who are selling their own 9-year-old their children for marriage. You had they were in Panama. You had the drug wars. Look, all these people who are coming across from the southern border. Their countries, they collapsed. Why? Because America just left. They used to help them. They'll be like, okay, we're going to do these things. Now they'll be like, okay, we're going to let you guys have democracy. Do your own thing. It took 400 years for America to get where it's at. These other countries, they're young. They are not ready for democracy. But America has offered them democracy, and these people cannot sustain themselves. There's so much corruption. They're incompetent governments, okay? So if America stops, then the entire world around America is going to collapse. What's going to happen? Then those people are going to free those countries. Guess where they're going to go? They're going to come to America. You see what I'm saying? Now, because those people are freeing those areas, they're coming here. So they are going to compromise what America stands for because they're coming here with their values. Most of them, like so, you look at these. Look at Canada. Look at Toronto. You have people waving the Taliban flag. You see what I'm saying? They come in. They don't assimilate to the culture. They still want to be there in America, but they want to behave as they did in Afghanistan. You see what I'm saying? But they think that when you're in Rome, you do as the Romans do. So if America stops, those are the whole thing is going to collapse. So they help because they have their interest. It's in the best interest of America to help Israel so that Israel can, maintain its sovereign nation over there. They can fight on their own, but they definitely do need help. If they stop, if they don't do that, guess what? All those Arab nations are going to band together and pretty much, attack Israel. So if they're not getting help from America, then you have that entire Middle East is going to collapse. Now you have, quote unquote, the Islamic world, right, within that particular area. So then what's next? You see what I'm saying? The same thing that's happening in Russia, right? If Ukraine falls, Russia is going to go there. You think he's going to stop there? No. Then he's going to go to the other European countries because Putin wants to establish his former Soviet Union. So even if America doesn't want to do these things, there will be consequences to America if they don't. That's just a reality. Nobody is coming here because, geographically where America is, they're fine, okay? They can defend themselves. There's everything over here. However, the collapse can happen from within because you have a lot of, look, these marches, when you had the Palestinians, right? There's so many marches. The anti-Semitism has risen up. Be like, wait a minute, people dying just because you want to protest. You're hiding, raising an Israeli flag. So those things are going to intensify. Look what's happening in London. You see what I'm saying? So those are the things that happen. So America can do America first. Yes, take care of the things at the home. But if they just do that, forgetting what's happening outside, trouble is going to come knocking. I know I'm long-winded over here. So what I'm saying is just like, okay, Candace is just not aware of those things. It's just like, no, I just want us to do us, okay? I just want America to be whatever. Like, yeah, you can want that. But each point has its consequences, right? They have consequences. Can they do that? Absolutely. Tomorrow they can just be like, you know what, we're done. We're not sending aid to nobody else. We're just going to do our own American thing. That can happen. They can definitely do that. But everything is, after some time, is going to have its repercussions, going to have its consequences. So those are some of the consequences that can follow. But let's continue to be listening in to Miss Owens over here. Okay, so we continue.
Tweet or a single comment on IDF's response in Palestine. I haven't said a single thing about that. I have said it is always sad when a child dies. And the lack of humanity that I have seen from both sides has been very troubling for me. But to say that I have to weigh in and suddenly wave an Israeli flag and say things that, because you decide that you get to use my platform because it's personal to you, how is that fair to people? How is that fair? And then to go a step further and to suggest that it might be anti-Semitic, which is basically silence is violence, as a leftist tactic.
Okay, so did you see that where Candace is talking about like, oh, if I'm using your platform. Okay, so we know Daily Wire. Ben is a part owner of the Daily Wire. So, Ben Shapiro is Candace Owens' boss. And Ben Shapiro is Jewish, right? He's Jewish American. And obviously, he's going to care for his people, rightfully so. But I do think Candace is missing the point. If you don't know something, just don't talk about it. If you're going to talk about it, that's fine. You know what I mean? Like, so when people are critiquing you based upon those things, it's not saying that, oh, what you're doing is anti-Semitism, okay? talking about critiquing Israel is not anti-Semitism. Okay? What's going on right now? Do you have, if Hamas didn't attack Israel on October 7th, we wouldn't be having this discussion. But because they were attacked, they put their own people in very dangerous situation. As a result, children are dying, innocent people are dying, and it's horrific, and that is very sad. But we cannot pretend as if Israel just woke up and attacked them, right? That just happened out of a vacuum. No, that's not what happened. Okay? There were children who died in Afghanistan, in Iraq, when 9/11 happened. Okay? People lost their loved ones. So this is also one thing that you guys have to keep in mind, right? Like, Israel, a population of 9 million people. They lost 1,400 people on October 7th, okay? If you want to compare that to percentage-wise, that's like 40,000 Americans. So if somebody was to kill 40,000 Americans, trust and believe, the entire American force would be knocking on that country's door immediately, okay? Immediately. So now when you're looking at the Jewish people, like, that's 1,400. So the people that you're killing in Gaza, one life is precious. That shouldn't be the case. So now when people are looking like, oh, you guys are doing too much and everything, what you have to understand is also this. This is not the first time that Israel has been in this situation, okay? They have been in this situation one too many times. And it was just like, we're just going to leave it alone. We're just going to leave it alone. So this time around, they've just decided, like, you know what? We just have to take care of business. The whole world is going to be against us, but we just have to go over there and root out this Hamas. Look at all those Arab nations around them. Nobody's opening doors to take those Palestinians, okay? Egypt is right there. You can actually walk from Gaza to Egypt. They're not opening their doors to the Palestinians. Jordan is right there. They're not opening doors to those Palestinians. Why? Because they know they open that door, it's going to be chaos in their own land. They don't want that. They don't want that. You see what I'm saying? They don't want that, which is unfortunate, which is sad. But that's the case. That's the reality. That's what's going on over there in the Middle East. Not only that, Iran, is just using these people as pawns because, they don't want to spill their own blood. They don't want to spill their own blood. So Israel has been in this situation before. They were attacked by Egyptians before. They fought. They lost so many lives. They won. They were attacked by the Jordanians. They won. So this is not the first time. They fought these people so many times before, but they were victorious in the wars at the expense of them also losing their own people. So what's happening in Hamas? Yes, innocent people are suffering, but it is in the best interest of the Arab nations, including Israel in that area, to definitely get rid of Hamas. Because they're also facing other problems on the north, right? They have in Lebanon, Hezbollah. You have to remember, Lebanon used to be a Christian nation. The Muslims came in and, over time, as Christians, you're having one baby, two babies. Those people, they're having multiple children, and they ended up taking over. And Christians are the ones who are in minority now, and they're the ones who are under persecution in Lebanon. So once upon a time, it used to be a Christian nation in Lebanon. It's not anymore. Hezbollah is in charge of Lebanon. So what do you think is going to happen to Israel if they keep quiet, look the other way, what's going on with the Hamas? It happened to countries around them. And this is exactly what these people want. They want to get rid of Israel. So people keep talking about, 2 states, 2 states. They are not interested with 2 states, okay? The Palestinians are not interested with 2-state solution. They want, if the Israelis were to pack and leave, that's the only thing that they want. But Israel, they're not going to pack and leave because that's their land. They belong there. That's their place. So it will be the same as over here. People are saying, Americans, you should pack and go and leave. Go back to Europe, right? Go back to the motherland. Go back to England. Hello? That's a non-start to begin with. Or Mexico will be like, okay, you know what? California used to be Mexico. Texas used to be Mexico. We want Texas back. We want California back. Can you have that conversation? Is America going to give up Texas or Mexico? Absolutely not. So what do you expect Israel to give up? That's their land. But I digress. Let's continue.
To me, feels very extreme.
This is not about a geographical, geopolitical dispute between Israel and Palestine. This is about an ideological mission to rid the world of Israel and the Jews. That's what I think people misunderstand.
Yeah, well, Jews live very comfortably in the United States of America, so they're not going to be. I mean, obviously, Jews
lived comfortably in Germany before Germany too.
Good point. So this is also Candace's mistake. Jews are comfortable in America, so why do they care about what's going on in Israel? You see what I'm saying? Why wouldn't they not care? Why wouldn't they not care? It's the same thing. Look, the same thing could apply, right? Palestinians who are here, they are actually Palestinians, Americans. Palestinians are comfortable in America. They live comfortable in America. Why are they protesting? Why are they making fuss about what's going on in Gaza? Some of them, they've never been to Gaza, by the way, okay? They've never been to Gaza. They've never been out there. They just know, like, okay, you know what, I'm a Palestinian. So, but you understand, right? Yeah, they have to care. Those are their people. That's their bloodline. They have to care. Just like the Jewish people, right? Those are your people. You have to care. Absolutely. It goes both ways. So, but for Candace, she's just like, you know what? I'm an American. Why should I bother? Why should I care? By the way, Candace is married to a farmer, right? He's an Englishman. He's from England. Are you telling me that if this thing was happening to the English people in England, he wouldn't care? Obviously, he would care. So by extension, Candace is going to care because you have your in-laws out there, okay? So just because you're an American, that doesn't mean you shouldn't care about what's happening outside. If that's how you want to operate, if that's how you want to behave, then that's up on you. But as Christians, that's not how, that's not a Christian conduct. We are to care what's happening. You are to pray for your enemies. You are to care what's happening around the world. Like, you shouldn't ignore the sufferings of other people. We shouldn't be ignoring the sufferings of other people. It's important. It's important.
You did.
Doctors, lawyers, I really struggle when people start using, things that have happened in the past that are abhorrent, like slavery, to say that, like, if this doesn't happen, then slavery is going to be back, or if this doesn't happen, then it's going to be the Holocaust too. I think there's a lot more meaningful chatter and discussion that we can have. We don't have to resort to that kind of,
History repeats itself if you forget it. You have to be conscious, and Jews especially. Unfortunately, I'm a mature grandchild of all four of my grandparents are Holocaust survivors.
So what do you make of the Holocaust survivors and the Jewish people in New York City that are protesting on behalf of Palestine? That's a great.
Okay, so another thing over there, okay? Just because, how do I say this? What happened 9/11, right? 9/11 would be a very good example. There's Americans who truly believe that 9/11, that was an outside attack, it just happened, everything's fine. At the same time, you have Americans who do believe that 9/11 was a conspiracy, right? There are people over here. It was Americans who orchestrated everything that happened about 9/11. You see what I'm saying? But both of those people, both of those views are held here. You can hear them here in America. You see what I'm saying? So just because people have different opinions, that does not negate the issue that's happening in Israel. There's people who care about what's happening in Israel, and there's people who don't care about what happened in Israel. It's fine. There's people who care about what's happening in Ukraine, and there's people who don't care about Ukraine. That's life. Those are the things that do happen all the time. Now, there's people who deny the Holocaust, by the way, that the Holocaust took place. In fact, even the October 7th, word is like, how did this thing happen? You know what I mean? It's the Israelis who did this. They orchestrated this. It's already happening. So these are the things that do take place. People are going to believe whatever else they want to believe. Every time, whenever people are saying, like, we don't want to repeat the Holocaust and everything, right? I don't think, just like we don't want to repeat slavery, right? There's people who apparently, things that are happening in China, almost like, slave conditions, right? Slave conditions. So there's things that do happen that, mimic slavery, which is bad, right? People being sold, sex trafficking, we know those things are bad. So to say that, okay, we don't want the Holocaust to happen again, there's nothing wrong with that, because we wouldn't want those things to happen again for sure. Okay, and that applies to every nation. We wouldn't want the Palestinian to face the Holocaust situation, or black people, or anybody else for that matter. So those things happen in history to remind us that never again. We should learn from those things, learn from those mistakes, so we don't repeat those things. You see what I'm saying? So just to compare, like, oh no, we don't want the Holocaust again, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't understand why she was pushing back on this issue. But let's continue.
Question.
I think that there's a very strange, bizarre, it's the same people that you would condemn as the people of the white people who bow down to BLM protesters, who hate themselves and feel a certain sense of guilt. They feel a certain sense of, I think a lot of the ideologies on the woke left, to the extent that things are good and prosperous and virtuous, they condemn as bad. And the things that are broken morally and depraved, they see as good. This is the lens by which the far left views things. And I think these Jews that happen to be politically far left and maybe are not that connected to their Judaism, or are maybe culturally Jewish but don't have a strong Jewish upbringing. Not to say that politics and being a Jew go hand in hand with the same political identity. But my point is, just like the white people who in mass were bowing down and feeling guilty about themselves simply for being white, or people who feel guilty for being successful, or the anti-capitalists who say anyone who has something is necessarily bad. Some people buy into that sort of masochism of hating themselves to gain favor with people who want their destruction. It's really sick.
So would you say that in order to be
That was a very good point that he used. Very, very good point. Very, very good point. Just like, yes, you have, people who want to apologize for everything, right? Apologize to black people. Just like, no, mind your own business, okay? Or, we white people, we have white privilege. Let's give these positions to black people and everything. So, yeah, you have a certain segment of Jewish people who also feel like that, who also behave like that. So that was a very good observation by this gentleman. Let's continue.
Christian, a Catholic, you have to support the Vatican. Like, you can't be a Jewish person that doesn't support the state of Israel. Is that what you're implying? Yeah.
Okay, that's a false equivalence by Candace Owens. Okay, I'm like, Candace, come on, girl, what are you doing? Okay, what are you doing, girl? That's a false equivalence. There's no way you cannot be a Catholic and denounce Vatican. Just like you cannot be claiming that you're a Muslim and you're denouncing Muhammad. Okay, you cannot be a Muslim and denounce Muhammad. You cannot be a Catholic and denounce the Vatican, and you cannot be a Christian and denounce Jesus Christ. That's why we just say, like, oh, when they be the Mormons, they say they're Christians, they'll be like, oh, you don't believe in Jesus, you're not a Christian. There's a meaning, okay? There's a meaning. There's a meaning when somebody says it's a Muslim. There's a meaning when somebody says it's a Catholic. There's a meaning when somebody says it's a Christian. It's not just you saying it with your you giving a lip service. So what she said over there, definitely that's a very that's a false equivalence that that she gave. Okay. Now, if somebody is there's people who are Americans and they actually say, like, I'm ashamed of being an American. Well, you can be ashamed of being an American with your words, whatever your action, but that does not absorb you from being an American. Just like right now, we say, like, people, they end up changing themselves. You know what I mean? They want to be called different names, all that, right? We can actually say, you can dress, you can do this, whatever, but you can never change who you are at the core of it. Simple and straightforward. That's just what it is. So if somebody is a Jew, they're a Jew. They might not like Jewish people. They might, whatever the case may be, still, that's who you are, okay? I'm Violet. I'm black. I'm from Malawi. I'm an African. So, okay, right now, like, no, I'm not black. I'm white. I'm from Finland. Okay, I can say that all day till cows come home, but it does not change the fact who I am. So the same applies to the other Jewish people. If they don't care about their own people, that's fine. There's people who don't care about their own people. Those things happen all the time. How many, right now, Ohio just passed the bill over there, women can go and delete their own children on demand. So do they care about their children? No, they don't. If they would, they wouldn't kill them. So I didn't understand why Candace used that. I was just like, come on, girl, that's a false equivalence. But let's finish up.
Oh,
I don't
because
think
I
so.
have Jewish friends that are pro-Israel, and I have Jewish friends that say that they just do not support Zionism at all, and that they think that the creation of the Israel state is something that is political and has nothing to do with actually the Jewish faith at all. And so I listen to both of those sides. I try to hear both of those voices, and I don't think having a different perspective makes any person less Jewish. And I think it's been problematic to hear, and this is not you, this isn't a criticism towards you, when they say, well, to even have that perspective makes you not Jewish, because it's so reminiscent for me of me saying I'm a black conservative, and they say, oh, well, even to be a black Republican, it's you know.
Of course.
No, that's not the same. That's not the same at all. But like, Candace, what are you talking about, girl? You know, if just because you're black, that doesn't mean that you're a Democrat. You see what I'm saying? You can be a Democrat. You can be a conservative. That's a political affiliation. You can choose to vote however. You can be independent. Those are the things that you can do. But if somebody is a Jew, you cannot change that. How are you going to change that? Because that's who you are. Candace Owens, she's a black American, right? She's a black woman. She can't change that. She can behave however she wants to behave. But there's certain things that you cannot change because that's who you are at the core. How do we know that these people are Jewish people? Just because they say that they're Jewish, then it'll be like, oh, check mark, you're Jewish? How do we know that these people are Italians? Do we just say, oh, I'm Italian, that's boom, you're Italian? How do you know that these people are Mexican? These people are from Peru. Come on. Are we even having this conversation honestly? So to me, for her to even use that as an example, like, no, you can denounce your people, you can deny your people. That does not change who you are. Simple and straightforward. So I don't understand how she had to go all over there. And man, what can I tell you? But so all that's why I say, like, I do suspect that there's trouble at Daily Wire. Okay, so this is Ben Shapiro speaking. Looked like it was at a function. Let's see which one is gonna pop up properly. Okay, let's see this one. Okay, this is Ben Shapiro here. The audio is not so good, so just pay attention. I think somebody had asked him a question, something to do with Candace Owens. So here we go.
And then the question is about Candace Owens. I think her behavior during this has been disgraceful. Without a doubt. I think it's I can't close that. Yeah, I mean, she still works for my company. I think she's been absolutely disgraceful. I think that her faux sophistication on these particular issues has been ridiculous. It's not faux sophistication, it's ridiculous. Everybody can see the moves that she's making and the things that she's saying, and I find them disreputable.
Okay, so that was Ben Shapiro calling out Candace Owens, okay? And it says, they have been... So who knows what's going on at the Daily Wire. So Candace Owens has been posting some... I don't know what to call this, but this is what she tweeted out today, okay? This is what Candace Owens tweeted out today. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. No one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot save both God and money. So this is Candace Owens, okay, quoting scripture. There's nothing wrong with Candace Owens quoting scripture. I don't know what's going on because, like, she also did not do her show today. And this is what's showing. This is her. No show today. Candace will be back soon. Be back soon, Candace Owens. Candace Owens does, she's pregnant. Okay, she's pregnant. So maybe she didn't do her show because, she's pregnant. Maybe she's having a baby, she's sick, whatsoever. Anything can happen when somebody's pregnant. You never know. She does have a show every day, Monday through Friday, but there was no show today. And that was an announcement that was on the Day page. It just said Candace will be back soon. She had a show yesterday. She didn't say anything like, oh, I'm not going to be here tomorrow. I'm leaving, this, that, and the third. No, none of that. Who knows? I don't know. But with all these things that have transpired, I am wondering, is everything okay at the Daily Wire? Yeah. I personally do think she, as far as the Israel and Hamas thing, Candace Owens covering hasn't been good at all. Hasn't been good at all. You don't have, if you don't want to side with Israel, you have a right to do so. But if you're going to be bringing in information, if you're going to be bringing in insight, at least be factual. If you don't know, it's better for you not to talk about it. The evidence is out there. The facts are out there. The history is out there. Okay? So this is a geopolitical. These things have been going on for quite some time. I'm not an expert by any means, but I know a thing or two. So there was a march that took place, March for Israel, that took place in D.C. So look at this. I mean, the place was packed. They had, I think, almost 300,000 people attended, 200,000 and 90,000. Over, yeah, I think, yeah, just short of 300,000. The security was tight. They wanted to do a march, but the park police said, like, no, you guys just be in one area. Because imagine all these people walking in the street of D.C. I mean, that would have been a nightmare. That would have been a nightmare. So the minority speaker of the House, Jeffrey, spoke. He actually gave a very good speech. He gave a good speech. They had, this, the National Mall is packed out. March for Israel. It was peaceful, no violence. People were not wearing masks, just singing. They're carrying their, people who were missing. They actually had a musician. Yeah. They actually had somebody flew in from Israel who performed. He must be, one of the big superstars in Israel. They were performing in Hebrew. I don't speak Hebrew. I don't understand Hebrew. But the march was well attended. It was peaceful. There's a lot of people there. The place was packed. So those are the things that are, happening. A very sharp contrast every time you see whenever there is Palestinian marches. A very, very sharp contrast. That cannot be denied. Okay, that cannot be denied. So this is these are the people out there. Okay, people just standing up together. I did like what this person tweeted out. People showing their faces and masks, proud, because when you cause injustice, there's no need to hide. Tears being shed, songs of peace echoing the streets of melody of hope. Heartfelt thanks being extended to authorities, unity. Yeah. So the March for Israel was a success. It was in D.C. It was packed. People traveled from all over the place to attend. Very, very sharp contrast every time you see whenever there is Palestinian protests and marches. There was one that happened last week. I already covered that in New York. Just breaking things, destroying police cars, knocking on the New York Times offices. Like, what are you guys doing? Just protest in peace, and nothing but peace. And people definitely do hide their faces. So those are the things that transpired. So you guys, are we making something out of here, or it's nothing? But it's no secret that Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens, when it comes to this issue, they do not see eye to eye. Eye to eye. So it's unfortunate. But yes, those are the situations. Though that's what has happened. That's what has taken place. I'm interested to know what you guys think about this whole debacle. Leave me your comments and leave me your questions. All right, guys, that is all that I had for you guys today. I hope you find this to be informative to you. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Berean Babes. Until next time, remember to be in the know. Thank you.